Imagine that every thought you have, every star you see, and every person you meet is part of a single act of awareness. Imagine that the universe is not a collection of separate things, but one reality discovering itself through countless forms, including you. It sounds like modern philosophy or even quantum mysticism. Yet nearly 800 years ago, one extraordinary thinker explored this idea in astonishing depth. His name was Ibn Arabi, revered by many as one of history's greatest Sufi mystics. Ibn Arabi left behind thousands of pages of writings that continue to inspire philosophers, poets, and spiritual seekers around the world. But among all his teachings, one stands above the rest. It is a vision so profound that it has transformed the lives of countless readers for centuries. What if your true identity is far greater than the person you believe yourself to be? To understand this extraordinary idea, we must travel back to the 12th century. Born in Murcia, in Islamic Spain, around 1165, Ibn Arabi grew up during an age of remarkable intellectual exchange. Muslim, Jewish, and Christian scholars all contributed to a vibrant culture where philosophy, science, mathematics, and spirituality flourished. As a young man, Ibn Arabi experienced a series of powerful spiritual awakenings that redirected his life. Instead of pursuing worldly success, he devoted himself to understanding the deepest nature of reality. His travels eventually took him across North Africa, Egypt, Anatolia, and finally Damascus, where he spent his later years writing some of the most influential works in Islamic mysticism, including the Meccan openings and the Bezels of wisdom. These were not merely books of theology, they were attempts to answer humanity's oldest question: what is reality? Ibn Arabi's answer was both simple and astonishing. Only the divine possesses absolute existence. Everything else exists because it continuously receives existence from the divine. Creation is real, but its reality is completely dependent upon its source, just as sunlight depends upon the sun. This did not mean that the physical world was an illusion in the sense of being meaningless. Quite the opposite. Nature, humanity, and the cosmos are signs pointing toward the one reality behind all appearances. Imagine standing before 1,000 mirrors. Each mirror reflects the same sun. Some mirrors are large, others are cracked. Some reflect brilliantly, while others are covered with dust. The reflections differ. The sun does not. For Ibn Arabi, every being is like one of these mirrors. Each reveals something unique about the divine. And this brings us to one of his most remarkable ideas. Human beings occupy a unique place within creation because they have the capacity for conscious self-awareness. Animals live, stars shine, mountains endure. But human beings can ask questions. Who am I? Why do I exist? What is consciousness? For Ibn Arabi, these questions themselves reveal something extraordinary. The universe has produced a being capable of reflecting upon existence itself. Not because humanity is separate from creation, but because humanity represents one of its highest expressions. This insight led to his famous concept of the perfect human, known in Arabic as al-Insan al-Kamil. The perfect human is not someone with supernatural powers or flawless behavior. Rather, it is a person whose heart has become so clear that it reflects the divine attributes without distortion. Just as a polished mirror reflects light perfectly, the awakened human reflects wisdom, compassion, justice, creativity, and love. The goal of spiritual life, according to Ibn Arabi, is not to escape the world. It is to polish the mirror. Pause for a moment and consider this. How much of your daily life is shaped by fear, pride, comparison, or distraction? How often do these emotions cloud your perception? Ibn Arabi believed that beneath these temporary layers lies something far deeper, a reality untouched by the constant noise of the mind. The journey is not about becoming someone else. It is about uncovering what has always been present. One of Ibn Arabi's most misunderstood ideas is often summarized by the phrase Wahdat al-Wujud, or the unity of being. Although he rarely used this exact expression himself, later scholars associated it closely with his thought. This teaching has sometimes been mistaken to mean that God and the universe are simply identical. But Ibn Arabi's writings are more nuanced. He maintained a distinction between the creator and creation, while emphasizing that creation depends entirely upon the divine for its existence from moment to moment. Everything points beyond itself. Everything reveals something of its source. Think of waves rising upon the ocean. Each wave has its own shape, size, and movement, yet none exists independently of the sea. To focus only on the wave is to miss the ocean. To ignore the wave is also to miss how the ocean expresses itself. Both perspectives are necessary. This balance is one reason Ibn Arabi's work continues to fascinate scholars today. His writings bridge philosophy, theology, psychology, and spirituality in ways that remain remarkably relevant. Modern readers often notice surprising parallels between his insights and contemporary discussions about consciousness. Scientists continue to investigate one of humanity's greatest mysteries. How does subjective awareness arise? Why does the universe contain beings capable of reflecting upon the universe itself? Science explores these questions through observation and experimentation. Ibn Arabi approached them through contemplation, spiritual discipline, and inner experience. Their methods differ. Their questions often converge. Perhaps that explains why his work still feels strikingly modern. Another aspect of Ibn Arabi's teaching deserves special attention. He believed that every individual reflects certain divine qualities more strongly than others. One person naturally embodies generosity. Another demonstrates courage. Another reveals patience. Another radiates wisdom. No single individual displays every quality perfectly. Instead, humanity as a whole becomes a vast tapestry through which countless aspects of reality are expressed. This perspective changes how we see other people. Instead of competitors, they become fellow reflections. Instead of enemies, they become teachers. Even difficult encounters may reveal something about ourselves that we had never noticed before. Imagine how different society might become if every conversation were viewed as an opportunity to recognize another expression of the same underlying reality. Would we listen more carefully, judge less quickly, show greater compassion? For Ibn Arabi, spiritual realization naturally transforms ethical behavior. True knowledge is never merely intellectual. It changes the way we live. It softens the heart. It deepens humility. It expands love. Near the end of his life, Ibn Arabi wrote words that have echoed through the centuries. He described his heart as becoming capable of every form: a pasture for gazelles, a monastery for monks, a temple for idols, the Kaaba for pilgrims, the tablets of the Torah, and the pages of the Quran. His concluding message was simple yet profound. Wherever love's caravan turns, that is his religion and his faith. These lines have often been understood as expressing the expansive vision of divine love that runs throughout his writings. While scholars continue to debate aspects of his philosophy, few dispute the enduring influence of this poetic vision. So what is Ibn Arabi's greatest secret? Perhaps it is this: you are far more than the story you tell yourself. Beyond your fears, your successes, your failures, and your labels lies the remarkable capacity to know, to love, and to awaken. When you become more conscious, the universe gains one more place from which reality is appreciated with clarity. Not because you stand outside existence, but because you are one unique expression within it. Perhaps that is why the ancient search for self-knowledge has never truly ended. For every step inward reveals another glimpse of the infinite, and every honest question about who we are brings us closer to understanding the mystery that has fascinated humanity for thousands of years. The greatest journey, Ibn Arabi reminds us, is not toward a distant destination. It is toward recognizing the profound depth already present within the awareness through which you are hearing these very words.